Man, oh man, Bears fans, was that a bad one? Yeah. Before we get started with today's game breakdown, just a reminder for all of you, I am putting timestamps down below now so that you guys can fast forward to the parts that you want to listen to instead of listening to the whole video. And with that out of the way, we got the jersey of the day. How about Roma Dunze, huh? He at least had himself a good game today. 2 touchdowns. But yeah, the rest of the game, not so good at all. I am looking at the offensive comparison here between the Bears and the 49ers. The Bears had 162 total yards in today's game. San Francisco had 452. Bears had 68 rushing yards to San Francisco's 131. 94 passing yards to San Francisco's 321. We were 4 for 10 on third downs. They were 6 for 12. Time of possession, 28 minutes, 12 seconds to San Francisco's 31 minutes, 48 seconds. Not the game we were looking for out of Thomas Brown with his first game as the Bears interim head coach. Usually when teams fire a head coach, there's usually a one-game jolt. Well, not in Chicago. We just couldn't do anything today. It seemed like on San Francisco's third downs, it seemed like the Bears defensive coordinator, Washington, was running out this really zone-dependent 5-10 yard back coverage, and Brock Purdy was just able to pick that apart all game. And then on the vice versa out of that, on the Bears' third downs, Kyle Shanahan was bringing really heavy pressure. And Caleb Williams was sacked, 5 times on third downs alone today, let alone any other play, just 5 times on third down. And I think at one point it was 4 consecutive drives, and that's just unacceptable. It's just unacceptable. And really, I was really hoping that coming out of the half you would see a big time adjustment, which on the offense you got a little bit of an adjustment. Again, Roma Dunze hooked up with Caleb Williams for 2 touchdowns, but the defense just didn't really seem to adjust for anything at all today. They were very, very, very zone heavy. They didn't really play a whole lot of man-to-man. The only plays that really were played man-to-man, you saw Jalen Johnson play some really excellent coverage, but other than that, I mean, they look like a lost football team and a team that has pretty much given up on the season, which go figure. But I mean, you're not making any cases for any coaches to want to come here because this points out 2 things. It points out a couple of things to me. One, Eberflus definitely needed to be fired, regardless of the team's performance today. So we could just get that out of the way. But what we can agree upon was that he was pretty much the only reason why the defense was any good as it was, because the defense struggled all day long today. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop the pass. I want to say that San Francisco had almost 300 yards at the first half of the game. Like, it was just bad all the way around. But another thing that it tells me is that this is a problem that is not just a coaching issue. It goes much higher than that. It's not just that the Bears played bad. It's just that the Bears played with no real grit, no fight, no nothing. And that is something that gets set, above the players and the coaches. That is a mentality problem. That is a culture problem. That is a Bears problem. And really, I mean, you got one chance to make it right this offseason by bringing in the right coaches. Otherwise, in 4 years, we're looking at doing the same thing all over again. We're looking at, drafting another quarterback. We're looking at drafting different wide receivers and all these other players. We're looking at another rebuild if you don't get it right. Because with the talent that you have on the roster outside of your offensive line and your defensive line, any other coach would be making this roster work to at least some degree, I think. And you're looking at a position that you have put yourself in where you have to find a way to make it work this offseason. You got to make it right. You got to bring in the right coaches, and you got to bring in the right players. You got to pull them in through the draft or through free agency, however you got to do it, because if you don't, Williams will not be here past 4 years. Odunze will not be here more than 4 years. Players like Jalen Johnson on your defense won't re-sign. Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, you can put whoever on that list you want to, but any player on this team that is worth their salt will not return if you can't make it work with your decision making in the offseason. Like I said, this is a problem. The way that the Bears performed today, yes, you could put some on the players, but again, this goes up higher than that. This is a cultural problem, not playing with determination or playing with any sort of fight. I mean, the Bears just didn't have any fight whatsoever today at all. When they went up, this is similar to what we saw in the game against Arizona when we went down by 3 touchdowns at the half. Once they went down by that third touchdown, once it was 21 to nothing. I mean, this game was long over before the halftime even began. I didn't see that I knew that Thomas Brown would make some adjustments on the offense, and the offense would get a little bit better, which they did. You had like 6 yards of offense at the halftime, and then you ended up with 162. So I mean, your offense definitely improved in the second half, but your defense didn't even budge. So I mean, that is definitely more a culture problem than a coaching problem or a personnel problem at this point. It is bigger than that. So, I mean, basically, we're just going to look to see how Caleb Williams progresses the rest of the year, and we'll put a magnifying glass on what the offseason looks like with getting coaches and the draft and potentially players through free agency or trades and things like that. But Bears fans, you let me know what you think about today's absolute belt to ass whooping that we got today. Let me know what you're feeling. Let me know how you feel about the culture issues that we have in Chicago. You let me know how you feel, and we will be back with some media day stuff tomorrow, and we will also be covering the Chicago Cubs winter meetings coming up, so we got content coming up for that as well. So with that, Bears fans, I will catch you guys in the next one. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and push that notification bell so we can beat the YouTube algorithm, because it sucks. I'll catch you guys later.